everything you have ever seen, someone can destroy. And most of what was ever filmed and uploaded to the internet is already gone, erased, burned, or buried decades before you were born. You just never noticed it was missing. Some of it vanished by accident. Some of it was destroyed on purpose. And a few pieces, people are still trying to forget, to unremember that they ever saw them. Tonight, we go down through all of it, to the recordings that should not exist and the ones that no longer do. This is the iceberg of lost media. Film, tape, and footage that the world has lost, hidden, or tried to erase. At the surface sit the famous legends, the lost episodes everyone talks about in whispers. The deeper we go, the less of it is a story, and the more of it is real, documented, and unexplained. Stay with me to the bottom, because the last layer isn't a creepy tape. It's everything that existed and that no one will ever see again. So let's start at the surface, with the stories everyone thinks they already know. This story starts the way the most harmless ones do, with nostalgia. Adults online begin reminiscing about a children's pirate show from the 70s called Candle Cove. They remember the puppets, the villain made of bare skin and teeth, the episode that was nothing but a child screaming. And then one of them asks their mother if she remembers it. She says, "I remember you sitting in front of the television, watching static, for half an hour, talking to it." Candle Cove is fiction, but it's the perfect opening because it asks the one question this whole iceberg is built on. What if something was broadcast to you, and only you, and there's no tape left to prove it? Then there's The Grifter, spoken about as the single most disturbing video ever uploaded to the internet. The legend says, watch it and you'll be changed, because the images you saw in it never leave. The truth is murkier. A video by that name exists, and it's mostly noise and stock horror. But the real story isn't the tape, it's how badly people wanted it to be real. They built a monster out of a file almost no one had seen. Remember that feeling. It's the engine under everything down here. Username 666. The legend that if you searched YouTube the right way, you'd fall through the floor of the site into a hidden layer. Channels that aren't supposed to be reachable. Backwards audio. A man in a rubber mask. A single channel showing only a low, droning frequency and a face that doesn't move. It isn't real, but every person who tells it is really describing the same fear, that the platforms we live on have basements, and that things get uploaded there that were never meant to be found. And the king of the lost episode legends, Dead Bart. A missing episode of a show watched by hundreds of millions, supposedly so disturbing the studio buried it. Wrong animation, real-sounding screams, a list of names. Fiction again. But it became famous because of one thing every viewer already half believed. That somewhere in a vault there's a version of your childhood you were never supposed to see. Here's the part that should unsettle you. For the rest of this iceberg, that vault is real. Let's drop below the waterline, to the media that genuinely existed and is genuinely gone. In the 1960s and 70s, one of the largest broadcasters on Earth had a policy. Tape was expensive, so they recorded over it. Entire television series, performances, dramas, news that documented history were erased to save the cost of the reel. Nearly 100 episodes of a single iconic show were taped over and lost. Not by a villain, by an accountant. The most ordinary decision imaginable deleted decades of culture. So ask yourself, what's being erased right now? for exactly the same reason. 1937. A storage vault holding the master negatives of a major film studio's entire early library catches fire. The film stock itself, old nitrate, doesn't just burn, it explodes. In a few hours, almost everything that studio made before a certain year is gone. Thousands of films, most of an era. We don't have copies, we have titles and a list of what used to exist. An entire generation of stories reduced to a catalogue of names no living person has seen move. And the most sought-after horror in history has a face. A 1920s horror film, its lead a nightmare of jagged teeth and sunken eyes, one of the most famous monster images of the silent era. The last known print burned in another vault fire in 1965. Every frame people still share is a photograph, a still. The film itself moves only in the memory of people now dead. We know exactly what the monster looked like, but we will probably never watch it move again. Up here, it was lost by accident. Below this, the things everyone tried on purpose to forget. November 1987, Chicago. In the middle of a broadcast, 2 television stations are hijacked. The screen cuts to a figure in a plastic mask, swaying in front of a sheet of corrugated metal, voice distorted, ranting nonsense. It lasts under 2 minutes, then the signal returns. Whoever did it overpowered a professional broadcast tower, twice in one night, and then vanished completely. No one was ever caught. No one ever came forward. Decades later, the only record is a grainy tape of a masked stranger who broke into millions of homes, said nothing that made sense, and was never seen again. Who was behind the mask? The case is still open. 2009. A video appears of a humanoid robot posed in a living room singing a cheerful little song about feeling fantastic. It is one of the quietest yet most disturbing things on the internet, and it's completely real. Some man genuinely made it. But the lyrics mention going outside at night, and viewers swear that in some frames the floral pattern behind the robot looks like disturbed earth. The legend grew that the machine was a witness to something. The builder is real, the song is real. What it's actually about, no one can prove. For years, a YouTube channel quietly uploaded thousands of identical 11-second videos. Red and blue rectangles, a single tone, nothing else. Hundreds of thousands of them, no explanation. The internet decided it was a numbers station, an alien signal, a dead drop for spies. It turned out to be an automated test account run by the platform itself. But here's what stays with you. For years, a machine was broadcasting to no one on the largest video site on Earth, and not a single human knew why. How much else is uploaded by no one for no one right now? 2015. A journalist receives a disc in the mail. On it, a figure in a plague doctor mask, standing in a ruined place, flickering in and out, while hidden cipher messages scroll underneath. People decode them. They lead to more videos, more codes, images of victims, coordinates. This case was never fully explained, and no one ever openly stood behind it. Someone built an elaborate, terrifying puzzle, mailed it into the world, and then went silent forever. But that someone, at least, left a tape behind. The next ones have been transmitting for half a century, and nobody will say why. Turn a shortwave radio to the right frequency on any given night, and you'll still hear a voice reading strings of numbers into the dark. These are numbers stations, and they've broadcast for almost a century. None of them identifies itself. No one admits to running them. One, nicknamed the Buzzer, has transmitted a monotonous drone since at least the 80s, interrupted every so often by a voice reading names and numbers, but then always silence. Authorities won't explain what it is. The leading theory is that they send coded orders to spies who could be anywhere, which means somewhere, right now, a machine is reading numbers to a person you will never meet, and that machine has never once stopped. In 1972, a beloved comedian directed a film so dark that he couldn't live with having made it. The subject was the worst chapter of the 20th century, told through the eyes of a clown. He finished it. He watched it. And then he locked the only print away and refused for over 40 years to let a single person see it, calling it a thing he was ashamed to have created. Most lost media is lost by accident. This one a man chose to bury because he believed the world was better without it. So what does it say that the people who made a thing are sometimes the ones most desperate to erase it? And then there are the puzzles that recruit you. Beginning in 2012, an image appeared online with a hidden message, leading to another and another. A global treasure hunt of cryptography, buried codes, and clues hidden in the real world across multiple countries. It was clearly built by people of extraordinary skill, looking for others like them. No company, no government, no group ever claimed it. It appeared, it tested the most brilliant strangers it could find. It took the ones who solved it, and then it went dark. We still don't know who was on the other end. We're at the bottom of what we can document. Below this is the part that frightens me most. Not the strange tapes, but the empty space where tapes used to be. At the deepest point of the legend sits Mariana Mordegard Gleskorv, a video said to have been pulled from YouTube again and again because everyone who watched it to the end was overcome with the urge to do harm. A man staring into the camera, then, in the final second, his face changes. It isn't real. But it lives at the bottom for a reason. It's the purest version of the fear, a recording so dangerous it has to be erased on sight. And that fear exists because just above it, the real version is true. Think about everything uploaded today that simply goes. Channels deleted overnight. Creators who posted for years and then vanished without a word, their entire archive gone with them. Live streams that were never saved. We tell ourselves the internet remembers everything, but it remembers almost nothing. The vast majority of what is made is never archived by anyone, and when the account closes, it's as if it never existed. You have already watched things you will never find again, and you don't even remember they're missing. And then, the true flaw of this iceberg, not a cursed tape. The first films ever made, gone. Performances recorded once and erased. Home movies of people no one is left to recognize. Recordings that existed on exactly one reel, in one place, that is now ash, or landfill, or a magnetic ghost on a tape someone recorded a game show over. Most of what humanity has ever filmed is already lost. We don't mourn it because you can't miss what you never knew existed. That's the real horror of lost media, not the one disturbing video everyone hunts for, but the ocean of ordinary footage that quietly drowned while we were all looking at something else. Every iceberg has a layer no one has reached yet. If there's a tape, a broadcast, a file we missed, something that shouldn't exist or shouldn't be gone, leave it in the comments. Volume 2 is already being built. Subscribe before this one's gone too.